Morrell, your January 2025 edition. I'm your host, Angela Stepp, and with me is the man of the hour, Mr. Ronald Morrell Jr. Welcome. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well.
2025.
Yes.
Wow. And you know what? I'm going to call this a groundbreaking 2025.
I like it.
Great way to start the year, right?
Yes.
And groundbreaking because there's a lot of exciting things that we're going to be talking about that kind of give a little 2024 report card, year in review, right? And as promised, and then also talk about some exciting new things that are coming up for the year. There's a groundbreaking happening.
Yes. Next week. So January 14th at 1:30, we're going to do the groundbreaking for the River Rocks Loft.
Yes.
Which this is on our in our riverfront district. It's going to be our anchor development. It's going to be 44 new apartments with about 3,000 square feet of retail space on the ground floor.
You know, let's just go ahead and talk about that for a second, because this is something, it's a $10.8 million investment into the city of Marion, Grant County as a whole. And the funding for that, it's a mixed bit of funding, but we were able to receive some funds from Governor Holcomb's Ready 2.0 program, right? And so that is a program that was established by Governor Holcomb back in 2021, and it received some national recognition.
Yes, 100%. And so I'm very thankful to the Holcomb administration for starting that program, and thankful that we were able to be the recipients of it for this year at a total of $850,000. So it was a really big deal. So that lets you know that the state believes in what's going on in Marion, Indiana. They believe in the development. They believe in this riverfront area. And so it's not just getting our local attention, but people are paying attention all across the state of what Marion is doing.
So speaking of that, Indiana Secretary of Commerce, Stephen Rosenberg, he is quoted as saying that this mixed-use development here in the city of Marion, the apartments, that is set to spark downtown growth and vibrancy, and it's going to become a very unique and creative destination for residents and for guests.
Yes.
And that's just really going to help to continue with the whole urban revitalization, not only here in Marion, but throughout the state. And it does follow suit then with the City of Marion's long-term goal, vision, if you will, of making downtown Marion walkable and accessible. And wondering, do we have a timeline for completion for the apartments?
So they are expected to actually start physical work about late June, early July, and they'll be done ready for leasing for the ribbon cutting next 2026 fall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's about a 12-month to 18-month timeline for the full build out to be done.
How exciting. We're talking about it now, and then hopefully then come 2026, about this time, we'll be able to be talking about, hey, we're getting ready for turn the key and let's move in.
Yes, it's very exciting. You know, this is, again, as an anchor for us in this river development, we're also, with our next level trails, we're expanding our trail system. So, as most people are familiar with our river walks, about 2.5 miles now. And the ultimate goal, this will take some years, is to make every neighborhood in Marion have access to a trail that ultimately leads to the river walk. So right now, our first leg in that was to go from about 9th Street to downtown. And then we're going to extend where the river walk stops there behind this new River Rocks Loft development, and then into the Ballard Field development. So this 2.5 mile trail eventually will get to a point where it almost covers the whole city and makes the city walkable.
That is such an interesting and exciting vision to see, an asset that we have had for forever with the Riverwalk. And it's always just kind of been there. And it's I don't know if I can say it's not been well utilized, because it has been very well utilized, but I don't know that we have really invested as a city into just truly embracing it for its full potential.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, when we did that, I don't want to misquote the time, but it might have been 30, 35 years ago or something when that was originally put in. Yeah. And it was really ahead of its time. And actually, it might be longer than that now. But it might be approaching like almost 40 to 50, 60 years, how long ago this has been. But it was way ahead of its time when it was first put in. And now here we are all these years later, and we reinvested in it, we repaved it, and now we're starting to develop around it. I think it's going to really bring in this asset that we have along the river.
Yeah. So you actually have been on the record then quoting that this is really, Marion is poised for growth.
Yes.
And that this Rock Loft apartment, that these are really a strategic key point of kind of a catalyst, if you will,
Yes,
of that jumping off
100%.
point.
You know, it's always good for, you know, a mayor to say things like that. You know, we're poised for growth, but it solidifies it and gives it some great validation when other people believe it, not just in believing it, but actually put their money behind it.
Yes.
So that changes the whole thing. When I can say it all I want to, but now when people are investing real money, when the state is putting in real money and bringing this vision to fruition, now it becomes real.
The shift into kind of the release of the 2024 Economic Development Report Card. And on that, one of the things that categories that was looked at is new investment into the community. And there are some very notable investments in the community, starting one, not only with the apartments that we were just referencing, but then also looking at existing businesses. Cafe Valley.
Yes.
I think a lot of people, it sits there on the corner, kind of nice and quiet, and makes the whole area smell good, right? All the fresh baked goods, right? And haven't we all enjoyed some of the resale shop, the discounted delicious treats that come out of there? But they have invested millions in new equipment.
$21 million.
$21 million.
And this is very exciting. So when I was first approached about this, they said that the Girl Scouts of America were going to start selling cupcakes now along with their cookies.
Oh.
That's very interesting. You know, and Cafe Valley is going to be the producer of those cupcakes. So now, long story short, those cupcakes will be produced in Marion.
That's a big
Girl Scouts.
deal.
That's a very big deal for us. And that $21 million new investment brings 100 or so new employees for them. And it's really a game changer for the city of Marion that we can say, no, those are produced right here.
Yes, and that I can tell you that local businesses are the ones that are being brought in to help do the installation and design work engineering for that cupcake.
Yeah, it's great. You know, it's great for the community. It's great for obviously it's more jobs, but it's also great for us to have. So, hey, you know, this is made in Marion, and that's something for us to be proud of.
It truly is. You know, I've mentioned before, one of my other hats that I wear, I work for another company called Basic Systems USA. They're right there in South Marion, right? And they do industrial automation and control solutions, and they are part of that cupcake development engineering, you know, that automation process. And, you know, so here Cafe Valley, not only do you have them here bringing in, like you just said, 100 new jobs to Cafe Valley itself, but now you're supporting businesses here locally in the community that I can readily identify, that I can also say Basic Systems supports the television ministry through their generous donations and allows us to do programming to bring information like what we're talking about today to viewers throughout North Central Indiana. So it is a huge example of tangible evidence of that economic progress that we have going on in the city of Marion.
It's very exciting.
It is very exciting. So you've got Cafe Valley, but there's another project, and this is also a housing project, and this is the Jones Heritage Apartments, and that is something that I think we gave lip service to on a previous program, but we didn't really get to speak in depth to it, because we're always limited in time, right?
No, I get it. So I'll speak to why we're so keen on the housing. So we had a housing study done at the top of last year that showed that the county as a whole was about 3,000 or so housing units short, with a combination of affordable apartments to luxury to rental homes to homes for purchase, the whole gamut of things. So Marion is really in this last year really locked in on how can we fill that gap for housing, because if we want to attract more people, where they're going to live.
Right.
So we have to give them somewhere. So Jones Heritage Project is another developer actually who's from this area. His name is Zeke Turner. He's owned the building for a while. So now what they're doing is they're going to turn the actual Jones building into loft-style apartments.
That's exciting.
And then behind Jones, where the football field and track and field used to be, is going to be cottages. So it's a dual type of housing right there with amenities right on site. So if you drive by Jones, you'll see all those like 7 or 8 dumpsters out there, like gutting the place and getting it ready for this big development.
So, I think about, we're talking about the river walk, and we have the waterway, right? It's beautiful. And I think a lot of people, when they think of Indiana and they think Midwest, they don't necessarily think waterfront.
Right. Yeah.
But we have waterfront.
We do, yes.
And we have a lot of it here.
Yes, all over the place. I mean, from just thinking about our river, the Mississinawa River, then you have the Wabash River, then you have the White River, all these rivers that run through Indiana. Then obviously you get up to the north, you get the Great Lakes. So there's all these different areas and type of water that is in natural development for Indiana. And I'm super excited that in Marion we're now starting to take advantage of that as much as we can.
Yeah, and I'm so glad to see it's happening. Yeah. And I think that just improves the richness and the quality of life in the community. And I'm excited to see how the Jones Heritage Project turns out, especially with those cottages. Yes. Is it going to have a little bit of like a lake cottagey feel?
That's the design of it. So that they'll be connected, and they're all connected with a trail back there. And it's a beautiful rendering, and I'm super excited for that development to start because, again, we're looking to attract people, and one of the best ways to attract people is to have somewhere for people to live.
So true.
So we're working on it as hard as we can.
Yeah, and that's a lot of 104 new housing units.
Yes.
And it was a $20-some million investment as well into the community. Yeah. So that's huge as well. So as we bring in those new jobs, like with Cafe Valley offering the 100 new jobs, so that we now are going to have a place for people to move into the community.
Yeah. It's all connects together.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we need then to shift a little bit. Let's talk about infrastructure because that was on the report card for 2024 as well. And a lot of work has been done.
Yes.
Record breaking, I dare say, in terms of road and sidewalk repair and new construction.
Yeah. So last year we went for a grant called the Community Crossings Grant, which is administered by the state, and it's a matching grant of $1.5 million. So the city puts in $1.5 million and the state matches you. So last year we were able to get the full match. So we were able to do $3 million worth of work, which has never happened that much work at Marion at one time. So that was between paving streets and doing sidewalks. So it was a lot of construction and threw people off, but it was so amazing to get those things done. So the state is now opening that grant portal again for 2025, and we're going to go for that full match again. And hopefully we're privileged enough to be able to receive it, and then we'll do that same amount of work again this year.
That was my next question. I wondered what the goal for 2025 was going to be, and now I know we're going to maybe see another record-breaking, if not topping last year's
so
efforts.
We're going to try to max out that limit every single time the state allows us to.
Oh, that's excellent. And I was curious about funding too, how we were going to be able to do that. So last year, 17 miles of street paving. And 10 blocks of sidewalk removed and replaced. Yeah. And that's something that has been on the radar for multiple mayor's administrations, but they never were able to quite make it happen. Yeah. And it happened in your first year, and in your first term.
We're hoping to keep that same momentum up for the whole first term, 4 years in a row. Now, obviously, we have to be able to win the grant each year. To do that, but at minimum, we'll invest our $1.5 million, and then hopefully we'll get that grant to have the state match us and get the whole $3 million done.
That's exciting. So you've also then focused not only then on the road infrastructure, but you focused on blight elimination.
Yes,
a lot of work done there in the blight elimination, and also the Clean City 2.0 initiative, right? And all the cleanup days that we had. I have to ask, do you have plans to continue that in 2025?
Yeah, so we're going to increase. So blight elimination first. So right now, even in the snow, freezing cold, they're still tearing down homes starting this year. We've already got our first one removed by January. I think it was January 5th. The first one was down. So we're keeping that momentum.
You didn't waste any time.
Yeah, we did. We're keeping that rolling and investing more funds into that. And one of the stories I'd like to tell about that, I got an email from someone that said, we've been wanting to sell our house for the last 10 years, but our realtor said that our house would not get the appropriate value because there was a abandoned home across the street.
Yeah.
And then they told me that story. Then the second half of their email, they said, we just want to thank you so much because that home was torn down last year. We were actually able to list our house for sale at the appropriate market value for the first time we've been living here. So we just want to thank you. for eliminating that harm. So now blight elimination does the obvious, right? It beautifies the city, cleans things up, but it's also benefiting our citizens to be able to have higher property value in what they own. So that's our blight elimination. We're going to keep rolling on that. As far as Clean City Marion 2.0 and those cleanup days. Last year we did 4. This year we're doing 6. Invested last year, I think we spent like around $60,000 to $70,000 on dumpsters, and it was amazing because there was like, I think it's over 900 drop off loads of people bringing trash. So this year, obviously, we're going to probably increase that by 50%. So the idea is to get as much trash and junk off of the streets of the city of Marion as possible.
So there's a lot of areas that need attention, and and we've known that for a long time, right? And now we've actually started making progress in the right direction there. How do you come about deciding upon what to tackle first? Because it could be a little overwhelming. It's like, well, I could kind of pick anywhere and start, but I know there's a strategy to it. How do you arrive at your okay, we're going to do this step 1? Because you got to do it step by step.
Yep. So I'll cover a couple of them. The first one, from an economic development standpoint, I had some advice early on to conquer 2 to 3 city blocks at a time, which is why you see in this riverfront district area, there's a lot of projects. You have the Jones Heritage, you see that have the River Rocks Loft, you have our Ballard Field Sports Park project we're working on, you have the splash pad, and you have the fire station getting built. All this is just within a 3-block radius of each other. From a cleanup and a blight elimination standpoint, I have a great team. Our building commissioner, Jerry False Knight, has a large map and goes out and picks out all of these houses to show, which ones need to be demoed, and he takes those to the Board of Works for their approval. So they work very hard on that to make sure that we are, following all the state rules and laws to get that done. And from a citywide cleanup, we're doing 6 of them this year to accommodate for each city council district. So the whole entire city is going to get a chance to be able to have a cleanup dedicated specific to their area. So that's what we're looking forward to, and we're working hard as we can to make sure that everyone is aware of what's going on, and that everyone knows that if we work together, that we can create the Marion that we all know and love and that we deserve.
And I really appreciate that sentiment of that we can create the Marion that we love and want, right?
Yep.
Let me talk to you a little bit about your neighborhood associations. You added a couple, 2 or 3. It was 3 in 2024. You added 3 more to the list of neighborhood associations, which people should not mistake for the concept of a homeowners association. It's not the same thing, right? For those who may be a little new to the concept of a neighborhood association, can you share with us what their role is?
So first, I want to shout out our neighborhood association coordinator, Dina Bice, who's doing an amazing job, and she's been the backbone of spearheading getting those new ones created. And so what they do is they watch your neighborhood for one. So they let us know when houses need to be torn down. That recommendation is coming from them. What streets need to get done. They recommend it to their council district person or somebody directly on our staff. So if I was to sum them up, they are a group of individuals that collectively come together to oversee their neighborhood. Everything from public safety advice to infrastructure to blight elimination, and they gather. They each one varies how often they gather, but some of them is once a quarter, some of them is once a month, and they can come together and they come up with ideas that are best for their neighborhood, and it flows up to me eventually, right? So our neighborhood association coordinator gets the information first, then it probably either goes to one of their council members, then it ultimately gets up to the mayor's office and, hey, this is what was decided in the neighborhood association, and this is how we get it addressed. I have a really good example for you. There was a bush on, I think this was South Hope's neighborhood association, so we're by McCullough, I think about 33rd or 34th in Nebraska. And it was obstructing the view of people driving. And there was an accident. And at the neighborhood association, they brought it up to our public safety, our chief of police, and said, hey, we need this bush cut down that people can't see. Now, there's no way that we would have known. Like, there's so much going on, we wouldn't have caught that. So since the neighborhood association caught that, they reported to the chief of police. We had that brush and tree cut down and within the week, and then it prevented all accidents from there on out because of that obstruction.
So something so simple, but
Yes.
it's a really good, tangible example.
Yes.
And so I think you did a wonderful job of explaining the value of a neighborhood association
Yes.
in the sense that it is your opportunity, and it goes right back to what you were saying, where we can collectively create
Yes.
the environment, the community that we want to live in. And I really appreciate how it is so simple for the homeowners association, or homeowners, look at me calling it neighborhood association, to be able to have that communication line directly to the city.
Yes.
And when you're trying to oversee such a large community, there's no way that you can
you can't catch
be
everything.
everywhere at once and catch everything. So the associations then are really the eyes and ears that help to make that happen.
So we heavily rely on all of our neighborhood associations.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so that's exciting. People need to get involved then.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
100%. We need people to get involved. If they want to have their community to continue to improve and progress, then be actively involved.
Yeah.
That's a great way to participate in that. So we need to pause for a really quick break, but there's some more neat things that are going to be coming up, and some of it has to do with your media availability in 2025. It's increasing quite a bit, but we're going to pause real quick and take a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with some more Marion Matters with Mayor Morrell.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You're watching Marion Matters with Mayor Morrell. So glad that you are with us today. We are talking about 2025, some exciting things that are coming out of Mayor Morrell's administration. And Mayor Morrell, that is pertaining to your media availability. You have got a lot of ways for folks to stay connected, stay in the know for the city of Marion. I mean, we're doing this program right now, right? So this is a great example. It's not only on WSOT TV, but we pop it on YouTube as well. But you have a lot of other avenues that folks who want to stay up to date with all of the exciting progress that's happening, that they can stay connected.
Yes.
And I think this is a great opportunity for us to talk about a podcast that you have called Mayor Morrell Speaks.
Yes. So this was an idea that I had separate from the city, right? So this is I take care of it myself, and I wanted to be able to get the messaging out of the successes of the city of Marion and people who are successful in the city of Marion, because so often that negative news travels very fast, and I wanted to, and when good things happen or successful things happen, we often might slow roll those messages. So I wanted to use that platform to be able to share about new businesses that who have been successful here, or entrepreneurs or citizens or whatever's going on, just to get a constant good messaging out about that. Now on the city side, the city of Marion, we've really stepped up our game, and the reasoning is because in this day and age, people are looking you up or looking any business or entity up online first. So your first impression of people most of the time is going to be something online, whether it's a social media outlet, whether it's YouTube, whether it's just Google, whatever it is. So I wanted to make sure that the city of Marion had a strong presence on every online platform. So we're doing all of our social medias. We're doing YouTube. The city council is streaming all of their city council meetings live on YouTube as well. And then also the city of Marion on its own is going to have a podcast now. And that's going to be called How Marion Works. And the vision behind the City of Marion's podcast is going to be going through each department within the city and explaining how things work. For example, we often get questions on how do you select what street to pave? What's that process look like? You'll now have an episode dedicated with the engineering department talking about that.
Oh, this is a great idea.
Yep, so that's what we're doing. And the same thing for every department. Animals, transportation, building, code enforcement, because it's a lot of questions that people oftentimes genuinely want to know. But we haven't always done the best job of communicating the processes. So this new show that the City of Marion is starting called How Marion Works will go through and highlight that.
I love it. How Marion works. So for folks who just the whole mechanism of how a city operates, that can be a little bit of a mystery.
Yes.
Unless you have firsthand involvement or knowledge or somebody close to you who can explain it to you, how would people know the process? Like you said, for getting a street paved, is it somebody that, because there's so many, and sadly sometimes I think we go on the negative, like why did that street over there in that neighborhood get paved? You know, it's like, did they have some kind of influence to be able to get their street? My street needs paved too. So this will clear up that mystery of how. But I also really love the fact that it will empower people, because knowledge empowers people, right? And as we go back to what you were saying just a little bit ago about the citizens being able to actively create the community that they want to live in, if they understand the workings of how the city operates, how Marion works, then they can better create.
100%. That's what we want to. We're doing everything we can to provide people with those tools to know how the city works and ultimately be able to, again, like you say, create the city that they want to live in. I mean, some of the ideas, like even the idea that the splash pad that we're doing, straight from citizens' suggestions. I didn't think about that. Nobody on the team thought about that. The citizens said they wanted it. So we come out and now here we're going to execute it on this year. So that's how I continue to go. Oh, and also, I don't want to forget the app.
Yes, the My City app.
Yes, we continue to push the app, and we push updates out there of the events, and all of our information is also being pushed to the app as well. So
the app is something that allows citizens to be able, they can put it on their Android or their iPhone, right? And they can have a direct line of communication with the various departments within the City of Marion. So you don't have to go through the whole waiting game of trying to find your way around to get to the right person. This is a straight communication line right in. It connects you. I mean, like we talked about streets. So if there's a pothole on your street, you pull your phone out, open up your app, and select, I think it's called pothole, or it might be called street or something like that. Click that tab, and then you take a picture of it, and it automatically uploads the GPS coordinates of where you are. And then you submit that, and it goes right to our engineering department, and they see exactly where you were, where that pothole is, and they can go and fill it. That is, wow, what a powerful tool. Yep, so it's great. Wow, exciting. We're going to have to visit that more. For the sake of time, we'll talk real quick. You're also going to have a presence on Facebook. Well, you have a presence on Facebook. You have a presence on Instagram. You have it on X, or formerly known as Twitter, right? So the city is then going to be putting out the same information on all the different platforms. So what, kind of pick your preference, right? You want, and TikTok. We have a TikTok too. That's right. I forgot about that. We have one. And what's interesting, every social media has different methods, as you know, to be able to get stuff out. So the TikTok videos will get really popular. I think our animal care and control is Splash House has very popular TikToks, and that they put stuff out on. So it's very exciting. We want to do everything we can to share as much information about what's going on in our city, because we have great things going on, and we don't want to let the great things going on go unnoticed. I love it. Well, we're going to wrap that up. It truly is a groundbreaking start to 2025. And on that note, we're going to continue next month with another Marion Matters with Mayor Morrell, and keep you informed. We thank you so much for joining us. If you were watching us on WSOT TV, we have entered into our 41st year of broadcasting throughout Marion and North Central Indiana. And so we want to say thank you for supporting family programming that you can trust all of these years. Also, we do want to encourage you to find us on YouTube, WSOT. Just look us up on YouTube. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share the videos that you find there. It helps us spread the news about all the exciting things happening in our community. Thanks so much. Stay tuned for some more quality family programming you can trust right here on Sunnycrest Outreach Television.